Today's matchup, KSV, Kingzone DragonX, Rocks Tigers, Jin-Air Greenwings. Beginning of the end. 2018 League of Legends Champions Korea Spring Split.
Good evening, OGN Legion, and welcome to the final day of the regular split here at OGN. One more day going to be happening over at Spoke TV tomorrow with Papa Smithy and Valdez, but we have some marquee matchups here for you today. Heavy playoff implications coming through from both of these as SKT's fate hangs in the balance.
And everyone at home wants to know who's in playoffs, who's not, and of course the big story for everyone is, can SKT make it? And the answer is yes, but it's definitely not one that is fully in the control of SKT. Today, if KSV win and Rocks Tigers win, now the KSV series would be a big upset, but Rocks against Jin-Air and should win, SKT's out. We'll talk about it more when the standings come on. SKT don't control their fate. And the crazy thing is, for once, SKT fans are big Kingzone fans because they need a favor.
Yeah, they really do. They want that 2-0 victory to come through from Kingzone, which, granted, it does seem likely given KSC's form as of late. They have not been doing so hot in their last 8 games. I think 5 of those are losses. 5 of those games are losses. So things haven't been going that well for KSV. So Kingzone do come into this one as heavy favorites. But KSV, former Samsung Galaxy, have always had that X factor, getting them into the World Finals twice in a row, beating KT in the regional qualifiers numerous times, and taking down KT just a couple matches ago here in the spring split. So they do have that mojo, that secret stuff, as Max likes to put it with his Space Jam references, that they can bring out every now and then to get themselves a victory. This one would be monumental if they could actually take Kingzone down.
Yeah, history will be written in one way or the other. If KSV do, as they have the last time in the first round robin over Kingzone and also in the World's quarterfinals, then they will be able to eliminate. So talking over the ramifications, SKT are at 8 match wins. They play Kongdu, they're expected to win and move to 9 match wins. They also own the head-to-head if it ends up being the same game score. However, KSV win, 10 match wins. Rocks Tigers win, 10 match wins. SKT can't catch them, whatever happens. So the big story for SKT fans is you need to see at least one defeat from KSV or Rocks Tigers, or your chances are nil, whatever happens tomorrow.
Yeah, so everybody here today, if you're an SKT fan, make sure that you're popping up the Kingzone and Jin-Air Greenwings cheers in the chat to show your support, because both of those teams certainly going to need it. Well, Kingzone doesn't really need it, but KSV, they really do. When it comes down to trying to take down Kingzone, this team has just been a powerhouse, one of the most dominant teams that we've seen in Korea, in the world, in quite some time. And if KSV could beat them, they'd be not only just one of the only teams to take them down at all in this split, but the only team to beat them twice in each round robin.
They would also be the only team to beat them with Khan in the lineup, because the 2 times that Kingzone have gone down, Khan has not finished the series and played all 2 or 3 games. And honestly, just based on that, if it is Kingzone at full strength and KSV beat them, I want them in the playoffs. They should be in the playoffs. Yeah. So honestly, KSV, you've been clutch before, but not usually around LCK playoffs, because Achilles, they lost the first seed match in summer of last season, and Longzhou went on to win the season. They famously have never won a best-of series in the playoffs. This is not usually when they're clutch, and God, do they need to be clutch, because they need to beat Kingzone DragonX.
I think we kind of need to invent a new word for clutch in this situation, because it's just so much more than that, but crucially here, one of the things you'll see in the jungle, it's going to be Haru starting rather than Ambition on his 6th anniversary as a starting pro player. So it's been a while here for Ambition playing professionally in League of Legends, but he's not going to be on the starting roster here today.
Was able to pick up a single game victory over the Rocks Tigers, but of course, KSV went on to lose that series. KSV, with 3 left, had a single and simple ask. They needed to win a match, and SKT, Rocks, and Kingzone was not the easiest schedule, but it wasn't the most difficult either. No KT, no FLICKR in that list, and they had beaten KT already at that point. KSV unable to do so. Now it's right up at the end of the wire. Now they really do need a victory or to hope that other results in unlikely fashion go their way.
Yeah, pressure on all of these players coming into this series, but especially that last man on your screen, QV, because he's got to go up against Khan, who has just been a powerhouse force here for Kingzone DragonX. QV in the past has been a contender for one of the best top laners in the world. He needs to find that groove again if he wants to go toe-to-toe with Khan, but no matter where you look on this roster, it's just stiff opposition.
And you're going to find a very hungry Kingzone, even though their season is decided. They are first place. They are in the Grand Final, because Achilles, the LCK Grand Final is 3 weeks from today.
Yeah,
they will get no stage practice for 3 weeks. They can't afford to go out and have a glorious time and play some troll stuff. They need to make sure they are razor sharp. We're unsure if the playoffs patch will be 8.5 or 8.6. Kai'Sa will be enabled regardless, but it's all about the stage practice for Kingzone and that man Khan, who has still not dropped a single best of 3.
Well, we'll go ahead and take a look at the match history. Been nothing but domination for Kingzone, but KSV, a much rougher road here for these guys. 9 wins with the 8 losses. Might just be 9-9 here at the end of the day.
Feels like you're quoting a song, but how did it end up like this for KSV? They are the world champions, and now they are rank outsiders to make it to playoffs. They're the least likely team because they have to beat Kingzone or have results go extremely against them. I asked Atlas, I'll ask you, Achilles, what does it mean if the world champions do not change their roster at all and cannot qualify for top 5?
I think it means that Kingzone is pretty damn good at League of Legends. As we take a look at the KDA chart, just they're out of there. Grand Slam. It's just not even in the stadium anymore. Kingzone has just been obliterating everybody for the most part as far as the KDs go. 6.8 first in the league for a Team KD.
And only going up with the great performance over Jinner earlier this week. And you look at this match and say, surely it's going to be Kingzone walking all over KSV. However, those 2 most recent results are the ones that hurt the most, specifically the World's quarterfinal when everyone thought Longzhu Gaming was going to win, and they get some sick dragon skins coming through from Riot Games. Riot Games instead talking about Samsung skins right now rather than the Longzhu skins, because of course it was a 3-0 victory on the day for Samsung Galaxy. In the first round robin, there was the heavy asterisk of the fact that Khan had run his mouth a bit too much in solo queue and wasn't allowed to play in that best of 3. Yeah. That was with Rascal, that was with Kingzone, still working out their kinks. Very clear the kinks have been worked out. If you zoom over to BDD, he is 1,000 points, and there's also that standing argument. The regular season MVP, BDD, is 100 points clear, with a FLICKR playing KT on the last day of the season with no guarantee to win. If he picks up at least 1 MVP in this series, he's guaranteed at least a share of first place.
Yeah, we have a possibility of a 4-way tie for our MVP. If Peanut double MVPs in this series, he will go on to tie BDD, deny him from advancing any further, and then if Koro and Tucson win 1 apiece during their series versus KT, we'll have a 4-way tie for the first time ever here for our MVP spot.
And you know what? You know how Azael was hoping for the dream of the 5 tiebreakers, then got it, and was like, wait, I don't know if I wanted this. We really would love these particular hoops to be jumped. Double MVP from Peanut. Let's start it today. See what happens tomorrow. I'd love a 4-way tie. Don't know how you work that one out. The tax implications sound scary, but what about this implication?
Start cheating the votes to make sure it happens.
We get QV versus Khan, and QV, if you can say one good thing about him, and there are many, it's that when he is needed to answer a top lane carry, like Smeb in the past, like Khan even in the quarterfinals of Worlds, he has done it. This guy has actually been clutch in the 1v1, and he goes from playing Maokai 17 games to counter-picking skill matchups, and honestly, does it very well. And today, he's going to be tasked with Khan in great form, who's still not lost a best of 3. QV needs to be on his game.
Yeah, really does. We'll go ahead and take a look at the fan vote. And predictably, Kingzone comes out way ahead, but KSV probably a lot fewer votes than you might have anticipated here for the former Samsung Galaxy, the World Championship team.
If you're a KSV fan, either you're very depressed or maybe you can't even watch the screen or go on Facebook and vote because you need something that right now seems very unlikely to happen. You need to mastermind the downfall of Kingzone. You might say you've done it twice in a row. There are those asterisks for the first round robin. They need to be clutch. They need to take down Kingzone. Otherwise, KSV almost certainly will miss the playoffs.
Well, here we go. Draft ready for game number 1. KSV over on the blue side will first and foremost ban away the Galio, a BDD favorite.
And you know, I have BD's effective champion pool recently here. We know it's Galio, Swain, and Sion, basically the tanky mid laners. If you ban all three,
look at that.
They're going to have other picks. That's the scary thing, is that that does not ban out.
They're just banning away Crowd on the other side, so it's just going to be a double mid lane attack.
And we've had that already this week. Remember KT vs Kingzone last week? We actually had a lot of mid lane focus, and that didn't help UCAL one bit. We know BDD has the champion Ocean, even if you ban all the tanks. We'll see if they ban the third one, if they want to flex the Sion themselves, and they say, well, we're thinking about Sion, because we know that Kingzone will play it if it is on the red side. So a lot open. Olaf is a very strong pick for Haru, and we know about Peanuts Olaf. Will that be the final ban and leave open something like the Varus? I think KSV so far is pretty happy that one of their core picks will be available, regardless of what Kingzone ban.
I'm sure Khan is not looking forward to playing against a Sion. We've already heard his thoughts on the matter. And they're not going to ban it either, so Varus will just be taking away their roller favorite.
And I think if you're Kingzone, you're happy to see KSV lock in the Sion, whether it is mid or top lane, because Cuvée hasn't found any success on it, and Crown has practiced it in solo queue, but also not found huge success. Speaking of not finding huge success, the Xayah Rakan, which makes a lot of sense for Ruler and Core JJ, they duo to the top of Challenger with the famous Lovers duo, is going to be available, but look at the cost. You're giving up Olaf, who was buffed, to Peanut if they want it, and right now Peanut can just select it for himself.
Well, not even going to be going for the Rakan, so not interested in denying that pick away as Kingzone, so they'll just allow KSV to take it. Olaf and Tahm Kench both going to be snatched up, and Camille's going to be locked in. We'll see if this is a flex into the jungle for Haru, or if it's going to be Cuvée. He's played that multiple times so far during this split, but his KD and his win rate hasn't been nearly as high as Khan's, which is undefeated at the moment.
I mean, unfair, because of course they win every game, but he himself has been a shining light on the top lane Camille, and jungle Camille recently with the Warrior into Trinity Force has not been working. It's been the famine side of Feast or Famine, and he's against an Olaf, so while you could consider it, I think you put that one on the bench for today's match. Speaking of considerations, they see 3 champions are not true tanks. And Prey will be returning to his Jhin. He's shown us the Jhin and Ashe. He's brought back some of those old picks. Power level of the Jhin much higher after a couple of buffs, of a couple of patch rotations, and we get to see it again as a facilitator for the rest of Kingzone.
Plenty of protection there with the Tahm Kench, can keep him safe. If that Rakan wants to jump forward, try to get that grand entrance to lock him down. And like you said, Prey, I remember when Jhin first got brought into the meta. I remember watching him play this champion as it was brought to the forefront of the pick and ban, and it was just beautiful. Yeah,
I was watching old OGN intros, and the spring 2016 intro between Rocks, Tigers, and SKT ends with Bang and Prey with the masked Jhin pose into the screen. That was around the time of Jhin release, so they definitely are both associated. This dominating AD carry. Fun to see him back in the meta after so much time on the sidelines, as KSV says, please not the Jace, anything but the Jace, as if Cuvée wants to play Gnar, he doesn't want to deal with the Khan Jace.
Well, Zac going to be banned away here, so Sejuani. And the Zac taken out, so but tankier junglers, not usually Haru's style. We'll see where he wants to go. Rengar recently got a very slight buff, but something tells me we probably won't see that one locked in.
And we probably won't see the Sion locked in for mid lane because the Jhin doesn't represent a high damage AD carry to facilitate a tanky mid laner, and it seems like it's going to be a high damage mid laner as they are right now considering going for the Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia would have been a flex. This is not a flex. It'll be BDD on the Talia, reminding us that sometimes he doesn't play tanks.
Has one available, passes up on it. We'll see what the final pick is going to be there for the top lane for Khan, but for now KSV mulling things over.
Cuvée has to blind pick. We'll see what he decides. Could also just be the Camille, of course, and that would be the safest buy pick. So we think it's probably going to be jungle and mid. With the mid lane, the Vel'Koz is gone, and I'm going to return to Syndra to have as much kill pressure in the mid lane as possible. Not being a successful pick for him this year, but was massive for him in 2017.
Yeah, finally had some mastery over that champion after struggling with it for so long. And
it will end up being a jungle Camille, which has been a risky pick recently. And the blind pick top laner will be Ryze. It is rising in popularity. It is also a very strong pick into the Vladimir. That was a potential for Khan to consider. See what Khan...
Well,
is going to play.
I'll just go unkillable then and pick the Scion.
That will be the Jerk choice, but of course he could go into a Banner of Command and feel really good about the side lane. He will go Scion, so Abyssal Mask into Banner of Command Scion in order to play the lanes. Interesting comp from Kingzone. For once, it feels like BDD will be the most consistent damage dealer, as Jhin is much more about burst. Olaf also can take over a game, and we get to see a carry jungle matchup with Peanut on Olaf, and this seems pre-planned from KSV. They trust in Haru on the Camille that has been on the wane recently, but can situationally take over games in her own right.
No cheeky flip's going to be coming through, so just going to be Ryze sitting in top. Let's see how Cube is going to handle this one. Getting it through the Scion there, especially on the side of Khan, is going to be an extreme challenge. And we know Khan can make this tank pick into a very aggressive one and end up getting some kills in the 1v1. See if he pulls that off for us here today. Gives us a fantastic showing before they go away for a while. 3 weeks into that grand final, as you said. So these guys probably want to go out of the regular season with a bit of a bang as they get ready for that.
And our fans, KSV, Kingzone, or even some of the backseat SKT fans will want to know where to look. And you should look in the jungle for this particular game. Kingzone are about hitting specific timings. They do have relatively low damage as the game goes on. And these are both junglers that snowball or are snowballed upon. I feel like if Olaf is held in check by Haru, this could actually be a really happy time for KSV, who have a lot more damage as the game goes on.
Yeah, that. The Camille coming into the bottom lane. Hextech ultimatum ready to go. Get a lockdown there onto the Jhin. It's going to have to be Gorilla really on point with those Devours to help keep him alive. So if this Camille can start popping off, can track down the Olaf and get ahead of him, this could be good news for KSV. Let's see if they can pull it off. The miracle victory to upset SK Telecom's playoff hopes. Let's see if they can do it as we start off with game number 1. KSV fans hanging in there, desperately wanting this victory.
It's a big contingent of them today as well. Usually they are around the middle in terms of fan interaction and fan attendance, but seeing plenty of them today desperate. See their charges come through. Understandable. Again, if you're joining us late, if KSV lose, they are not instantly eliminated, but they are effectively eliminated with how many matches need to go their way. A lot of fans here hoping for the best, but the Kingzone fans repping as well.
Well, Peanut fans coming out here. They already have the Broloff ready to go. Peanut is doing them some service by picking this one up.
And to me, KSV rolled the dice the most on the jungle position, which I mentioned I think is the featured matchup here, suggesting that they were happy to have the jungle Camille that struggled in the LCK recently go into Peanut's Olaf, the man who brought it back into the meta, and now has made it first pick, first ban, even before the buff that came in on patch 8.5. We're now in 8.5, as you can see in the bottom left of the screen, Kai'Sa enabled. That's a bit different from the LCS regions that are continuing on with Kai'Sa disabled and on patch 8.5.
Waiting to see that one come through.
And you see key player BDD, and I was doing some BDD research today, as I want to do once in a while. I've been able to find out that in his games on Kingzone, that includes the Longzhu games in summer season, so we're talking about regular season, summer 2017, the playoffs, and also regular season in 2018, BD has played 85 games and died 89 times. He actually dies 1.05 times a game. And speaking of death, it's a level 1 game.
Room Prison coming through here. Haru looking for the lockdown, and Khan, yeah, he's got nowhere to go. Doesn't burn the flash. He's just going to get taken down immediately. 2.5 minutes in. Cheeky gank comes through.
Do notice he can actually push in the minion wave because he doesn't die fast in the zombie mode. Look at how much gold he's picking up here for his first shot. This is actually not irrelevant. He's able to push up the wave. He gets back in, gets boots out of it. That's what happens when you die as a Scion. You're passive, pretty useful.
In the meantime, Peanut here trying to solo down this Ocean Drake. Throws out the smite to get that HP back, but we know how tough the Ocean Drake is, but Haru, he's straight back in for maybe another cheeky gank.
But he's level 3 because of all the experience he got. This is a much harder gank to pull off. But like you mentioned, there is a possibility.
He still has the flash, so maybe just looking to take that away from him.
And then Haru's like, the standard 3-minute Ocean Drake. Peanut just saw the camp in topside, and of course you expect the jungler to stay, because that's usually the way when you get a teleport back into lane. So he gets an uninterrupted Ocean, and overall, given the fact that Khan got so much experience, it's actually a trade up for the side of Kingzone.
Not going to be relatively okay with the way that things have transpired so far. I'd like to get that gold back into their favor, but for now, not too bad. The Rise going to get the first blood, so we'll help fast track that tier of the Goddess to come through so it can start stacking up faster. So maybe even just straight in for the Catalyst, we'll see.
The Kingzone here is all about the groupie and the set plays, and we do say that often from them in their mid lane Scion games. But this time it's BDD on the consistent damage, prey on a utility AD carry on the Jhin, who can snowball very hard, but of course in the late game can be answered. It's probably going to be Essence Reaver into Rapid Fire Cannon IE, so the most consistent damage from a Jhin rather than the Youmuu's Rush. But it's still going to be lesser damage. The game goes on, and KSV have 4 people who are damage dealers. So as the game goes on, certainly is a bit of light at the end of the tunnel for KSV as the late game approaches. Mid-game, though, Kingzone have a lot of different options, and QV on the Rise is something we should return to. Even before he was respected as one of the big mid laners in Korea, I'm thinking of 2015 when Samsung Galaxy at the time were one of our struggling teams. He was actually always known as a very mechanically gifted top lane Rise player. So he's jumping back on a pick he knows very well.
Well, Peanut's going to be zooming his way through here. Axe not going to connect there onto QV, but he's still got the flash available. Will now jump away, but they're jumping in, get the decimating slam in for the slow, and now he's got nowhere to go. Hit comes through, Khan finds revenge. They'll essentially tie up the gold.
And you know, they're used to those ganks in the mid lane. This time it's the top lane as Khan has jumped onto the Scion. No way to go down a long lane as Rise. Olaf is the best at catching people who are 50% or further up the top lane. They get the kill, they back away, and Kingzone arrests the gold lead that was generated from the first blood.
So 1-1, Kingzone back into the lead. Ocean Drake there in their favor as well. So in a pretty good spot as Khan will go back to base. See what he'll be picking up here.
Haru's looking for a cheese gank onto Peanut.
Yeah, doesn't have the Ragnarok yet. He's just going to jump in there, gets a little bit of damage, and yeah, as you say, it's level 5 versus level 4, gets the stun off in the tactical sweep, so we'll chunk out the Olaf quite a bit as Peanut burns down from that red.
That's a skirmisher's saber advantage because Peanut goes into the boots to get the Predator. That's why he's been able to be in such a good spot. And Peanut's waiting on Ocean Drake for a bit, but gets the Scion info.
Haru now getting pinched on. Ground's gone back. And they're just protecting Peanut as he clears out these Raptors.
He maxed the hook shot from the jungle, so he had a very reliable escape. Like the creative jungling from Haru, who was trying to make something happen. But obviously when Crown started the recall, he knew the jig was up.
And Khan is just straight back in the top lane. It's like he never left. Wave's just ready to go.
We'll have his ult available too, very, very soon to give himself an escape, and so will QV. Multiple interrupts for both of them, though, as bot lane. That's going to happen a lot.
Exactly. Nothing really going to come of those engages. Let's see. Devour happens to be down. Nice little bit of damage there on the Prey as he gets chunked out. Deadly Flourish won't connect. Trades back decently. Just got to be waiting for those level 6 engages to come through. That's when we're going to be seeing the curtain call.
Plenty of time to return to top lane as well, as QV's flash will be down for another 2.5 minutes or so. Phase rush onto QV. Top lane, we've seen comment a lot from Keen on the Rise and Unsealed Spellbook situationally, but will be the phase rush this game to try to find a way to step away from the axes. Drake spawning just around 9 minutes. Peanut is on a journey bot lane. It's going to be hard to pull off.
Gorilla's going to get popped up. Deadly Flourish comes down. They get the root here onto Ruler, and he uses the Blade Caller. Now Peanut's coming around from the side.
They're looking for a map player. Talia coming down as well. Haru spots him.
Yeah, BDD getting ready to come through. Ruler going to get jumped on, and he might just get popped. There it is. BDD finds the kill. Now looking for a second one as Core JJ gets locked down. He'll die. In the meantime, Gorilla has been picked off on the backside as Haru arrives. But a double kill goes over to BDD, and now Haru has to try to make it in underneath the turret. He'll take a significant chunk of damage, and here comes the curtain call. One shot, one kill. Prey picks it up.
And once again, playing with their food is Kingzone. Gorilla flashed into Haru, not ideal. Crown's in the bot lane.
Seismic shove. Deadly Flourish not going to connect, but now Peanut's coming straight back in. Crown gets locked up. Stun connects, however, there onto Prey. And that is going to be the teams going their separate ways, but big explosion of kills over here for the side of Kingzone, getting 3 in that engage.
And the outrageous thing is they trade up in summoners as well. It's only 1 flash used. Here's the replay. Level 5 on the bot lane would have been the information passed from Kingzone. Gorilla's being the true bro, tanking up the turret, and then finds Haru. He's like, but blue and red are up. What's this all about? It does die through all of it. The Kingzone have been the kings of these coordinated dives. They pull off another one, about as clean as can be. Now they're in a gold lead, which sets so many of these fans around the LCK into a very happy mood.
Very impressive that Gorilla can out-bro Broloff.
It's true.
But he's just that good.
He knows his role. You know, they went for a first-round Tom Ken. She accepted that he could be counterpicked in lane.
Sometimes that guy. Oh, this is just going to be the ultimate coming through. Decimating Smash gets the hit. One more to do it, but he doesn't have the flash to follow, so Cuvée will walk away with less than 10 HP there.
We'll call that one calculated. Not really sure how the earlier trades happened to allow Khan to walk up, but he did have the Ocean Drake to go into the darkness for a moment and come back out.
Again, this is what I was saying. Even with this extremely tanky pick, Khan manages to just about come up with these solo kills.
He's not giving away any free cannons either.
Yep, just going to go ahead and catch the wave. Says thank you very much. 5 HP is what he got knocked down to. So,
Korean calculation.
It was very close.
Be able to hold up a bit of a freeze top lane as well, so Rise doesn't rush back to lane. It's going to be the same build we see from Prey, so been watching many other regions, you know, LPL and also NA and EU jumping on the Jhin, of course, and a lot of Yomus still, but seems like Prey is a big fan of returning to the highest reliable DPS build, which is the Essence Reaver into a rapid fire cannon into IE to have some more auto attack threat as the game goes on.
Kingzone pushing forward, clearing out some vision. They have Peanut hovering around the red, and he's just going to go aggressive here onto Haru. Misses the axe as he jumps away with a hook shot, but is still chasing through. Yeah, he's looking for it. Ultimatum comes down to get the pop-up there onto Peanut, but Haru's still one hit. Peanut will be able to get the kill. Devour from Gorilla drags him back out. They'll clear out more vision and likely take the red buff.
And they're playing around pressure so well. They had the control ward and the entrance to the enemy red side jungle, and they knew that they would have the first rotation from Taliyah. That's the reliability of having the vision and also having the global. Crown wasn't in the face of the Taliyah, couldn't make her accountable, so ends up being a steal and a kill to the side of Kingzone.
I mean, they have this trifecta of semi-globals coming through. They have the charge coming through from Khan. He can run down from the top lane. You've got the Weaver's Wall from BDD, and then the Curtain Call from halfway across the map here from Prey. So no matter where Peanut roams in, if he's got Gorilla, he's already safe, and then he's got the aggressive backup from the rest of his team.
And again, I spoke about this the last time Kingzone played, but speaking to Gorilla, he says, just like on the Rocks Tigers, it is Peanut shot calling in the early game, largely around jungle invasions and understanding pressure. This is a team that backs up their aggressive-minded jungler. Peanut obviously in great form of confidence, this great form of recent minds, able to pull off these plays. And there was a great breakdown by Zyrene also. The teamfight breakdown, showing some of the next-level macro that Kingzone have been able to pull off. And that's not a one-off. That's a reliable thing from Kingzone.
Well, they're looking to go aggressive here yet again. But jumps to the side just in time for that shared recall. Does for JJ, so keeps himself safe, but this is going to open up the turret for a bit of damage here as they have the wave moving up. But likely not going to be a take. So first brick still eluding us thus far. But a 2.2 thousand gold lead here in favor of Kingzone, as well as those two dragons. Double dragons, one might say. Ah, yes.
Good old Double Dragon. Are you too young to have played Double Dragon?
No, absolutely not.
That's good to know.
Had a couple of those games and the crossover with Battletoads as well on my Sega Genesis.
That's the genre that's really gone away, is the beat 'em up.
You know, it really has. Streets of Rage, that kind of thing.
The last beat 'em up I played would probably be Castle Crashers, which was pretty much the same genre.
A damn good one, though.
That was a good one.
The crew coming out of Newgrounds. That was my old stomping grounds back in the day. That was my pre-YouTube website that I would very much frequent.
I think now they're mostly phone games, because I think when it comes to beat 'em ups, people want, you know, the action RPG. They want the next level mechanics, and the standard wade in and bash up people thing doesn't seem to hold as much water in 2018.
Oh, it was so satisfying, though.
Battletoads, classic, now that you mention it.
It was great. That crossover game was fantastic. One of my favorite classic games, I would have to say.
Well, Peanut's walking out, but not that tanky.
He's got the Ragnarok coming through. Technical sweep hits, and now Abyssal Voyage comes in. Seismic Shove gonna miss, but the Deadly Flourish finds the catch, and that's just gonna be Crown getting obliterated. Didn't even get to try to pop the flash. He gets taken down. They fish for a couple hits there with the remaining curtain call shots, but don't find anything.
And that's the biggest evolution for Kingzone over the course of the season is when they started the season, Peanut was caught in the enemy jungle a couple of times. Like, okay, this is something that we saw this on SKT. We're seeing it on Kingzone. They're never caught. Whenever you see Peanut by himself, the team always reacts first. They're going for a dive onto Haru of all things.
Not even. They just chunk him out and send him running.
But it's the synergy with his team that has leveled up, been the biggest change with Kingzone over the 18 best-of-3s they will have played by the end of this series. They always rotate with their jungler. They are a true team rather than some superstars who are disconnected. And that's why when it looks like it's too good to be true, it definitely is a ruse.
Well, it took a couple iterations from Longzhu and then a change in the name, but it seems like they have finally perfected the system here.
And you know, I have to put my hand up and say, I wasn't sure they could pull off this lineup so easily. When they had Cuz and won the LCK and brought in Peanut, I think there should have been doubt about whether that would be an easy transition for them, as Cuz was very much a role-playing jungler who was pulled to the top lane rather than Peanut, who clearly is, you know, an invading jungler, who was a shot calling jungler in the early game. And for them to so effortlessly bring back a player that, sure, two of their players had synergy around, and for Khan to step back a lot more, play a lot less carries than in the past, and make it so effortless in so few best-of-3s. It took about 5 or 6, and then we saw the Kingzone we see today. Means they're even more impressive than they appeared on paper, and they're just as good as your imagination ran away with when it was announced that Peanut was joining at the time Longzhu game.
It's been a wonderful split from him. 2-0-4 here on the Olaf already, so 100% kill participation still coming through for Peanut, and he is just commanding the Rift. Not only just the jungle, but pretty much everywhere, every single lane. If he shows up, things are going to happen, just like right here in mid as Crown gets jumped on, almost gets taken down by the Olaf alone. BDD not flashing forward to try to go for the play. We'll just go ahead and get the flash away from the Syndra as Crown barely escapes with his life.
He's trying to take over the map. Like we mentioned, they do fall off in the late games. This is when you need to be proactive. They've got proactivity everywhere. 2 levels up, 3 levels up on
Haru
Haru.
would love to get this blue, but he just can't. BDD.
He's 3 levels up. The enemy jungler's 2 levels up. This is what we see more and more often from these jungle Camille's. It's very risky. And that was the big gamble I mentioned. I said, look at the jungle matchup. That'll decide the game. And then you look back at it and you can see, with a pretty significant gold lead and a massive pressure lead, the Olaf is outperforming the Camille in every aspect.
I mean, Gorilla and Core JJ are both just slightly behind Haru as far as the experience is concerned. He just hit 9. They've been 8 during that entire engagement, so you can see he has not been able to surge forward very much.
That's just Tom Catch, okay.
Into the bot lane. Just going to be joining in.
Just unsealed spellbook things.
Yep. You always have to question it. Who's coming through it? Is there more than one?
I mean, it could have been Sion to push a turret, I guess, but that's why I was like, okay, this is Gorilla. No, never mind. As top lane, the Banner of Command isn't there to make it the worst lane of all time for QV, but he's not going to be doing any significant damage, that's for sure.
He's not going to be taking any as well. He's going to be fairly all right now in the matchup, so no more of those 5 HP moments, it would seem.
And we're already at the point where you look at KSV's comp and say, time to get those defensive control wards at and lose the minimum, which is a scary thing. When Kingzone are already in a position of power, they're walking up. It's going to be a 3v3, but Talia joined to make it a 4v3, so Kingzone see KSV back away. Third Drake of the game already spawning at pre-17 minutes.
Reaver's Wall going to get thrown in just to cut them off from the turret as they look to take this one down. They'll just grab the Krugs instead. Pretty much all that KSV can get their hands on. And Dragon getting ready to come up. Kingzone could just rotate over, grab their third of the game if they want.
Recently, when you watch Kingzone and they've calmed down a little bit from those crazy games over BBQ and other teams, does feel like you're getting a tutorial on macro and how to play the game. Get those superstar moments as well, but they get the objective, the Weaver's Wall at the perfect time. As the minion wave is crashing, they have 3 Drakes at 17 minutes. There can be one at 23 and 39. There'll be 5, and then imagine an Elder and 5 Drake stack buff come up at 35-30. That's what could happen in this game. That is insane power, super early.
It's gross. It's absolutely disgusting. I mean, every time Kingzone plays, I'm just mildly disgusted, but also amazed at the same time.
One of those things where people are already asking me. I feel like the biggest thing I'm asked about is SKT, obviously, and their forms, and that makes sense. They are the most popular team. I'd say the second most often thing I'm asked is, well, are Kingzone going to choke like they did at Worlds? Because people are already seeing these performances, and that's where the mind goes because they've been so good, and because there's so far for them to fall, because what they're showing is so high. And obviously, I can't answer that question. It's very, very hard to know. With Worlds in Korea this year, that's looking more difficult because you don't have the extra variables like how will Khan's health be able to travel to a foreign land. But if that's the question you're asking about Kingzone, pretty good sign the team is popping off.
I mean, Kingzone going from this to, choking at Worlds, there's not that many comparisons. I guess the next closest one would probably be a world champion team, maybe not making it into the playoffs.
And that's the reality we live in.
Yep.
We had to leave that one breathe for a moment there. As KSV would love a breather. They would love to farm their own lanes and have Kingzone back away.
I mean, the pressure is just still coming through. They want this top lane turret. Deadly Flourish. Looking for the hit there on a core JJ. Don't find it. Peanut's still just fearlessly pushing forward, chucking axes and clearing wards.
Should mention they don't have a fantastic Baron speed team, so KSV can at least have a couple of latitudes around the Baron being rushed when it spawns. But when it comes to this top turret living, that's harder.
When it comes to maybe core JJ and Ruler living, that might be difficult.
They got everything
getting
up.
pinched
So
on.
they're probably not going to die, but they certainly
peel back.
will have to play very, very safely. Banner of Command still not complete for the Scion, but that's the next pick in order to ruin some of the lane assignments that KSV have to deal with. For a big map play here, as you can see, Gorilla out of vision, looking for an Abyssal Voyage play. Cancels his Abyssal Voyage, actually.
Oh, it's going to be
Oh, look at the drifting.
Khan
Oh, he does
drifting
it.
his way through.
Beautiful.
He arrives in mid, and maybe he's just going to walk straight down bot again.
Do you reckon he plays Burnout or something to practice his Scion drifting?
He might.
Well,
Man,
walks
now
away.
I'm thinking about all the classic racing games.
Burnout Paradise just got re-released. I haven't played that game, but heard very good things about it.
Need for Speed Underground.
Sure.
Classic back on
Sure.
PlayStation 2. Man. I also just remembered that there was a Double Dragon movie from 1994.
Don't talk about the Double Dragon movie. Now, if you want to talk about the Mortal Kombat movie, I'll hear you. And let's talk about this top lane outer turret going down, because there's nothing that Kingzone just have to deal with here.
Not much else to say about it. KSV can't really commit in for anything. Well, I say that, but Haru's going to be looking for a pick there onto Peanut, but immediately has to start jumping away. Deadly Flourish. Or rather, the Curtain Call going to come through, but misses the shots and will get canceled in the end.
Yeah, it was out of range, actually. That was Jin Prey overestimating his range, so just ended up instant canceling it.
A little off on that one.
On the side lane, QV can afford to back because he doesn't have to deal with Banner of Command yet, so he has a bit more extra time in order to piece together some items. Do notice that he actually held on to all 6 stacks of his Minion Dematerializer, so that will answer the first 6 coming through. That was good preparation from QV. Don't see that very often in the LCK.
Yeah,
in other
usually
regions, we see a lot of teams hold on to the stacks.
Usually hold a couple at the end, but all 6 of it's a bit rare as Haru goes over. He just wanted the red buff, guys. You're a bunch of bullies. They'll kill him. They'll take the red. 7-2 is Kingzone. It just keeps dominating here in this game.
And we saw it coming. You would have thought that Haru saw it coming, but he was confident in going for the matchup to attack the Olaf, going for his own playmaker. And so far, he's been very well answered by the side of Kingzone. They're still not going to start the Baron. Wait and see if they actually do pull into this Baron start. They only have Jin, so their damage is not massive with a Mountain Drake. They're going to start it looking to peel a Kingzone. They don't have teleport from Khan, so they can't get 5 people here, and QV can get there very fast.
Peanut zipping around the back. He's looking for Crown. Won't be able to get the lockdown there. Deadly Flourish going to go wide, and Khan is just now starting to push up. QV in the bot. TP's ready to go as Haru starts to rejoin.
I think KSV have been really smart around the Baron. Okay, Prey's going to open
that's
up.
just going to be a bit of a point-blank one coming through here off the Curtain Call, but no one can get to that Jin in the back. Significant chunk goes through. Featherstorm up from Ruler. He tries to get out. Seems like he's kiting quite well. Decimating Smash, not going to get the slow. Devour comes through to keep Khan alive and in the fight. Kingzone actually have to peel back away from this one.
Yeah, it's actually really well played by KSV, but Haru going to have to back away. That was actually really well played by KSV. So far, they're reading the script really well. For example, holding on to Dematerializer by the Rise. That's exactly what we expected Scion to do. Get a Banner of Command, well done. In this area, Kingzone have amazing turn-off Baron, but very poor Baron damage. So you can very easily say, let's be a little bit less respectful of the Baron being fully completed and be ready for the turn, and KSV have. So good to see that so far, the veteran shot call and defensive mindedness is working for KSV. But you give Kingzone too much of a leash, and we know they will also use that against you.
I almost would have liked to have seen a delay on the banner of command from Khan, just because he knows that those dematerializers are sitting in the inventory. If he had just built another item and was just like, well, you're just wasting an inventory slot.
The nice thing about it
Here's
is,
my power coming through.
The nice thing about it is if he finds someone that isn't Ryze, that person actually, Ryze kind of has to walk up and find it, so you can still affect lane assignments. If he goes to a side lane, Ryze says, oh, I have a dematerializer, I'll go there too. And that is a force just because you built an item. So there is still something around it, but I do follow your logic of if there was another purchase that was really invited, then you could have considered it.
Let's go for something stupid, you know.
I mean,
Ravenous Hydra.
Peanut's gone for an item that I heavily criticized from Raze, who went for the Black Cleaver early. Now, Peanut's far from behind, so a snowball Black Cleaver is a different thing in this particular game.
He's still got 100% kill participation, and he is massively ahead of Haru in CS.
Sure, but he ults, loses resist, and he could get bursted by the Synders. There is a chance, given that he's invested more in damage. I'm not criticizing it, but it's something to note, is that it's a different build. It's not full tank, it's not the Trinity Force, so he's not legendary at 16 minutes into the game. But he is another target that Syndra wouldn't mind unloading a full combo on.
See just how much damage Crown can do if he gets the opportunity, because so far, he's just got the 2 items completed. And the Sork Boots. Seraph's Embrace plus that Void Staff, so not going to be the hardest hitting Syndra yet.
And Kingzone actually find KSV with quite a lot of anti-burst tools. They also have double shields, as we're going to watch
Weaver's Wall coming through here. Prey looking for the Deadly Flourish. Now opens up with the Curtain Call, and Core JJ, he's going to flash away, gets himself out of range, as does Crown. Yet again, getting away by the skin of their teeth.
But at some point, you have to start counting the summoners and seeing what's down. So they know that Core JJ has no playmaking left open. That's something to respect. Ruleless Flash is down as well. That means the bottom lane is really not in position to turn around Baron. It's another piece of information that Kingzone can trade upon. But just like in their last series with the Jhin, it is a bit slower because Baron starts is still something they're not feeling comfortable enough to actually pull off.
QV no TP, so could try to force something up perhaps here at this point. Core JJ, of course, very elusive with the Rakan. Keeps himself nice and safe, just dashing away.
It's all a bit predictable for Kingzone, and seems like KSV are making smart reads. Just the Q there to poke into the brush. They know that's where Kingzone will be. At some point, Kingzone's going to have to start this Baron and actually deal with quite a lot of threat from KSV. 2 items now onto the Xayah. Takes convergence there to amp the damage a bit. Haru could die again, though.
He is going to be walking around. Gorilla looking for him. Seismic Shove catches him, and he just disappears. BDD, want to see a magic trick? We say yes. And there goes that Camille. Rula now getting jumped on. Final shot from the Curtain Call comes through, but just a little bit too late to scoop up the kill. Peanut will take that one for himself. 9-2, 2 members dead. That should be the welcome there for Kingzone to start up the Baron.
If you want to walk into the forest, always bring friends. That's always been the adage, but sadly Haru went on a solo mission. He wasn't pre-buffering his hook shot, so he just ended up getting shoved into Doom, and this will be the Baron for Kingzone.
Core JJ can't even try to push forward to get any vision on that one. He's just going to be going over, so 26.5-minute Baron there to Kingzone. Still have not lost a single turret in this game.
Yeah, Haru, I think the moment that you walk into vision of the river, you pre-buffer your hook shot. Otherwise, there's a very real chance you instantly die. Khan walks in. There's no flash onto Ruler, so he will eventually die throughout the course of this. High threat coming through from the Black Cleaver. Beautifully pulled off by Kingzone, but honestly, I feel like Haru made it a little bit too easy. They need to be more respectful of the very likely Baron turn.
And this is, you know, starting to beg the question, do we get to see Ambition just rotated in yet again in game number 2? Seems fairly likely, as this Camille just has not been working out.
And I think your tone is actually pretty appropriate there, because you sound a bit disdainful saying that, and I think the reality of this season is the difference between Haru and Ambition's been almost 0. Both of them have played the same champions. There's been no Rengar priority since very early in the season from Haru. We haven't seen an aggressive jungler and a passive farming jungler. We've seen kind of both of them cosplaying as each other, playing each other's champions. So it's been really no value from either, which is a far-flung difference from last year, where there was always a viable reason to run Ambition or Haru.
Well, the other thing that we can maybe look forward to is with Peanut being 4-0-4, could be that MVP win coming through. He might be able to force the tie there with BDD and maybe lead to the 4-man tie. Well, that was very poor drifting here from Khan, a bit uncharacteristic. Will flash away, and now they're going to try to turn things around with the Abyssal Voyage here as Gorilla and Prey arrive. Curtain Call comes through, finds the first shot on Haru, but he makes his way out. QB will do so as well. And that was an odd hiccup, we'll call it here from Kingzone. But now they're in position to go ahead and maybe take out this turret. Decimating Smash knocks up QB. Are they just going to go for the dive? They're threatening it.
Don't have IE yet onto Prey, so don't have one-shot potential. Olaf's in the mid lane, actually, through all of this KSV. Just don't want to lose a second turret. Weaver's wall.
He's going to go ahead. And can't lock them in.
But gets the instant flash out of Crown as he was on the wrong side. 4-0-4, KSV's playoff fortunes not found is the scoreline from Olaf.
Yikes.
It's the reality here. The Trinity Force complete on the Camille, but it's a slow one, Achilles. That means she dies instantly.
I mean, that's the first item.
Yep.
It's that. And a Skirmisher Saber. Root comes through, QV locked in. Yeah, it's just not been a good look here from Haru. Poor JJ going in, looking for the engagement. Khan is still just tanking up everything here on the front line. Prey gets chipped away at a little bit, but he's got the range, he's got the root. They're pushing forward. Seismic shove not connecting there onto QV, but they're flashing in. They're just gonna go ahead and blow him up. Prey finds the killing blow 10-2 in the end. And do they just go for the victory here off this push?
Oh, he gets the actual
That's going to be the answer, yes. Crown just disappears. Double kill going over to Prey as he's looking for a little bit more damage. Finds that last shot in onto Core JJ. And they are just working their way through the base now. Seismic shove not going to hit. Core JJ still yet again just dancing around, trying to keep himself alive. Haru goes forward and with a hook shot tries to get the stun. Ultimatum here in onto BDD, but he does not die. The Devour from Gorilla keeps him alive. And Kingzone now will turn their sights in onto the Nexus turrets. One down, Khan sitting up front, just trying to stop them from pushing forward.
He's trying to keep them out of the fountain.
From defending. Weaver's Wall stops them from getting in the fountain, but the Nexus has been exposed here at 30 minutes, and Kingzone should have this one in the bag.
Still playing with their food.
They charge in, get the pop-up roller, disappears. Core JJ can't make it out. Prey claims another one. Haru will not make it away. Another double kill goes over to Prey, and QB can do nothing but watch as the base crumbles around him. Kingzone absolutely dismantled KSV in game one.
Kingzone playing with their food in this game, working through some issues after losing to them in 2 series in a row. The World's quarterfinals, it's not going to be easy for them to forget. But the first round robin without Khan in the lineup had that asterisk, one of the 2 series that Kingzone have dropped. They want to reverse the scoreline, go 2-2, and even the ledger against their opponents today, and they've gone a long way towards making that happen because Kingzone looked a class and a cut above KSV.
Absolutely crushing here. Kingzone just shut them out of the game early, and a lot of it comes from the work done by Peanut. Invading jungler, goes in, and Haru, he can't find a leg to stand on. Not a good look there with the Camille. Was already a risky pick. Then he's playing it into Peanut, and then it just doesn't work out. You can see Crown here, just seems like he doesn't know what even just happened in the last 30 minutes.
Problem is, Achilles, let's say you go back, you ban the Olaf like you expected them to. Something else would have slipped out and could have been turned upon them, and then you would have said, well, why did they leave open the Scion? Why did they leave open the Galio? There's so many different picks that Kingzone can wield. We were looking for KSV to have an ace up their sleeves. They thought it was the Haru Camille into the Olaf. It didn't work. Otherwise, it was business as usual, and business as usual in the LCK is Kingzone winning in dominating fashion.
Well, that's going to set the tone for this best of 3 series, I suppose. KSV, if they want to upset SKT, going to have to go ahead and win 2 in a row. But I don't know if they're even going to get close to winning a single game here after that game 1. Absolutely nuts. We'll find out more when we come back from the break.